You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
It's Later with Mo Kelly and Jackie Ray. As we go beyond the box score, we're live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app. And Jackie Ray, I loved past tense. I loved the NBA. It's my favorite professional sports league. But now I realize that it's not the same league that I had originally fallen in love with. And it's different reasons for different people. But for me, the NBA product is less than what it was 5-10 years ago with just all the 3-point shots, the laissez-faire attitudes about defense and conceding rebounds. You know, you jack up a three and you just start running down the other way. You're not actually following your shot, just basic basketball. And we know that the All-Star game has also suffered because the players who were coming to the All-Star games were not trying hard. The dunk contest, it was tired. It was old in the sense of nothing was really new. It was more stunts than actual dunks. What was your read of the NBA coming into this All-Star weekend?
Not good. That kind of summarizes everything. I don't know. You know, traditionally, as journalists, this is something that we try to get credentials to. It's one of those most sought after credentials to go to the All-Star weekend. And I didn't even think about it. I had no, aside from seeing LeBron, who I also now have a bone to pick with, but aside from seeing him, the game itself, to your point, has just devolved so much. And so when you're talking about a game that doesn't have the big moments, we don't talk about the big dunks anymore. Yeah, we'll talk about them from Ja, but that's in a game where it's just, I call it running tennis now. All we're doing is running tennis. So you don't really have that player that you're looking forward to your point, to say, oh, he's going to do this big dunk in the game, or you're going to get this Dikembe Mutombo big block in the game, because nobody's doing that. Nobody's playing defense like that.
In the All-Star game or just the league?
Just the league.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have that player that you want to see, because no one's going to be full speed in the game, but you just don't have these players that you're looking forward to. At best, you can look forward to Steph hitting a crazy three, but he's about to age out now. Mm-hmm. He's not the same. And to be fair, I still blame Steph for a lot of this running tennis that we're getting in basketball right now.
I don't blame him. In other words, because people wanted to be like Mike back in the day.
True.
And Steph playing he is an anomaly. Mm-hmm. There's been no one like him ever, shooting logo threes. They coined that term because of him.
Right. He
would pull up on the other side of half court. And unfortunately, a lot of people have tried to emulate him. But yes, I'm not going to blame him for being the best ever what he does.
That's fair. My bad, Steph. I'll take it back. But when you're talking about the All-Star game, and I think it's an interesting time for me because I cover the WNBA as well. I do think if Caitlin Clark had agreed to doing this 3-point challenge with Steph and with Sabrina Ionescu, that would have really brought another influx of fans.
Agreed.
But because it didn't, I'm going to be completely honest, I forgot. I forgot it was even happening. And then my phone goes off and I was like, oh, and I watched it, but it's an afterthought. Like I was literally working and not focused on the game because it's just not exciting. And the dunks, to your point, when are you going to jump over a car in a game? When is that going to happen?
Right. You think a dunk is an adjunct of basketball.
Right.
Jumping over a car is not connected to basketball. No. It's just a stunt, which is different from a dunk.
Now, you can still do a stunt like jumping over Shaq. That's cool because somebody as tall as Shaq
we've seen Vince Carter jump over someone in a game.
Yes, this is what I'm saying. So you can imagine that one day this person can do this. But, the world is getting crazy, but I don't think it's going to get crazy enough that we'll see a car on a basketball court.
I know why the NBA was trying to spice up the game. It had lagging ratings and let's be honest, the All-Star Weekend is one of the biggest weekends for the sport. It's the crown jewel as far as all-star events. Bigger than obviously NHL, bigger than the NFL Pro Bowl, bigger than a Major League Baseball All-Star game. So I understand why the NBA wanted to save it. This was just not it. And for those who don't know, they broke it down where they had the rising stars, the rookies and like sophomore players fielding a team, and they had a team called the OGs, which was the older players.
It was terrible.
And then they had the international players team. They played a 4-team tournament on one day.
And then had 9,642 commercials.
Not only that, the whole production couldn't figure out whether he wanted to be a rap concert,
right,
or a Kevin Hart comedy show who was very unfunny, or if it was going to be a basketball exhibition. And they tried to please everyone and ended up pleasing no one.
I mean, that's the saying, right? You can please some of the people some of the time, but you can't please everybody all of the time.
Well, they got nobody none of the time this weekend.
Yeah.
How this relates to our viewing habits, I think it's going to, I think it's a statement on how you just can't throw everything at the screen. We are still discriminating viewers, and I think the brand was damaged, I believe, without being hyperbolic.
100%. And I think this is the age of social media. I think what we saw with the All-Star Weekend was, and it also might be the lack of older, wiser voices in a room. Because what it looked like to me is you saw a bunch of young people who spend all day scrolling on Instagram, TikTok, or X saying, this will be a good idea at the same time.
Right. They don't need to have an actual dedicated basketball game to showcase the talent. Let's just have 4 short basketball games to 40 in this TikTok, Instagram, limited attention span world.
Right. So now when you go, if you didn't watch the All-Star game and you're scrolling through social media, from the 30-second clips you're seeing, you're like, this is what, it was not amazing. I don't let those 30-second clips fool you, but this is my thought process. I really think it was just a bunch of people who were born and raised in the social media era, and they figured they could make an NBA All-Star weekend based on that, and it failed miserably.
I can appreciate the greatness of LeBron James, but I've also heard a lot about the selfishness of LeBron James. LeBron James was named to his 21st All-Star game, and he did not play. If you don't know the NBA, when a player does not play, if they acknowledge that soon enough, then some other player can get the chance to play in the All-Star game. Maybe someone like Devin Booker, who was not there, someone who was up and coming, a rising star. I can't remember all the players who weren't selected, but LeBron James was having ankle issues prior to the All-Star break. There's no reason that he was going to play at the All-Star break during the All-Star game when he didn't play the 2 prior games coming up to the All-Star break. So in other words, everyone knew that he was not going to play, and then he didn't announce it until maybe an hour before the game.
Yeah. Shout out to Devin Booker. I think he would have been a great replacement, but I'm more concerned about the people who paid $1,000 to sit in the nosebleed specifically to see LeBron. They could have scalped those tickets. They could have sold them to other people. And unfortunately, we do not live in an economy, and I don't know when we will ever live in an economy where you can just throw away $1,000 like that. People probably saved up for that. And I think that this is another problem with the NBA. I think that the NBA, we've talked about this too, they're focused more on their financial partners as far as people who advertise with them than they are with the fans. And it's failing. But we've also seen, when we're talking about the Phoenix Sun, complete opposite. They've lowered the prices of food in the stands. Home teams, they can watch that on TV for free. This is the opposite. And they've seen, yes, they're taking a loss right now, but they've seen an influx in season ticket holders. They've sold out every single game since then. Merchandise sales are up. So in the long term, they're going to probably double in that. But that's because they are focused on the fans. But the NBA as a whole is focused on their advertising partners. And that's why the game is suffering.
Well, there's something else to consider. Now that their broadcast partners are changing, if you've watched the All-Star Weekend, you knew that this was the last year which TNT was going to be hosting it. And TNT, the conception of the NBA is very closely aligned with TNT, with Shaq, Kenny, Ernie, and Charles inside the NBA. It's a crown jewel of the league. Supposedly, they're supposed to carry that show over to the NBC networks, but I don't know if it will feel the same way. In other words, before we go to break, I think it's something else which is going to diminish the overall standing of the league.
Absolutely, because that's another thing. If you're a diehard NBA fan, you like the commentators. You stick around for the halftime show.
Their personalities.
Exactly. It's part of the show. And I guess in closing, I would like to say, NBA, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You got to fix it now because you broke it. But think about what it was before, revisit that, and then don't break it again.
Well, there's something else that the NBA needs to fix, or at least help make sure that they can avoid more bad press, because when we come back, we're going to tell you about an NBA coach assistant who was arrested after allegedly pistol whipping his girlfriend.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Still going beyond the box score. We're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. The Dallas Mavericks have been in the news a lot lately for, I would say, a controversial and unexpected trade with the Lakers sending Luka Doncic to the Lakers and the Lakers sending Anthony Davis to the Dallas Mavericks, who immediately got injured in the first game and may be out for like months.
No one saw that coming.
Right. There's that. And now there's this. Dallas Mavericks assistant coach Daryl Armstrong was arrested after allegedly pistol whipping his girlfriend with a gun. I think, or I'm of the opinion that after a certain age, you should be able to avoid certain controversies. You should be mature enough
Agreed.
to not get your ass in certain types of trouble. Now, here's what happened. The incident occurred around 3:45 a.m. after an argument. Of course, according to an arrest warrant affidavit, the confrontation began when Armstrong's girlfriend saw a message from another woman on his phone, sparking a dispute. Okay, this is a story that a lot of people know about. Go back to
Have
Jonathan
been through.
Majors, have been through. We all have something to say about it. Either we were the person who was cheating or the person who was cheated on and saw the message. So we all can personally identify to the emotions likely involved. Armstrong, reportedly intoxicated, of course. And Daryl Armstrong, I remember he had like a 14-year NBA career. He's older than me. He's 56 years old. He's old enough not to be
know
caught
better.
up in this type of stuff. He demanded her apartment key. In other words, he's kicking her out so you don't have access. Give me my key back. Armstrong, at some point during the exchange, allegedly entered the kitchen, struck the victim on the right side of her face with a pistol, and threatened to shoot her after loading the gun. I know he was drunk, but nowhere, at no time, at no point was there any voice in his head saying, "Dog, you were an NBA assistant coach. There is no way in any scenario that this story is not going to end with you fired or also in jail."
I think when you are a narcissist, those kinds of thoughts don't enter your head. And I'm going to very confidently assume that Mr. Armstrong is a narcissist for a few reasons. Number one, when your girlfriend asks you about another girl on your phone and you don't take accountability and you ask her for her key again, narcissist, red flag number one.
I can't argue with that.
And then, for you to all of a sudden take this stance with her, there's a level of disconnect between who you are and the reality that you actually live in. You feel entitled to treat her this way. And please understand when I say the following, that I'm not victim blaming in any way. But throughout the course of my life, I have worked with several women who are in these domestic violence situations. And while this has been reported, this is not the first time this has happened.
No, this is not the first time that it's happened probably to her. And it's not the first time that Daryl Armstrong has pulled out his gun on someone, most likely a woman.
Exactly.
In the advancement of a threat.
And like my dad has always taught me, people treat you the way you allow them to treat you. So if he felt entitled to treat her this way, he has gotten away with this at least a few times before. So, and again, this is not victim blaming. This is just understanding that, again, people, when they don't have consequences, their actions tend to escalate. So I'm going to assume that it might have started small, but it has escalated to this point. And the narcissism is just obvious to me because, to your point, I'm not going to say that I've never wanted to punch anyone in the face, but I have too much to lose.
Yes.
Too much to lose. And I know his salary is higher than mine. So how does that light bulb how does that not go off in your head? I don't understand that.
This could have had obviously a much worse ending. I'm going to assume that the gun was loaded. I'm going to make that assumption because I don't think that he's just waving around an unloaded gun. I'll put it this way. He was obviously intoxicated. So there's no reason for me to believe that he made the conscious decision to make sure that it was unloaded and there wasn't a bullet in the chamber.
Right.
So I'm going to assume that it was loaded. I just don't understand after a certain age. Yes, I understand people make mistakes. Yes, people are cracked vessels and they fall short. But you're 56 years old, dog.
You can't fall that short.
Yeah,
you just can't.
At some point, you got to leave that stuff alone.
Yes.
If she's mad, she's mad.
And I think, I don't know what the charges are going to be, but I hope the charges are severe. And I'm going to tell you why, because I'm a big proponent of guns but I also believe in gun safety. And if your emotions can get a hold of you to the point where you can't grab the gun, sir, you should never have a gun ever again in life. And you should face very serious criminal consequences for this incident.
That's my hope, because it could have gone very easily, become deadly over a domestic dispute. I'm not saying he was right or wrong as far as their relationship. I'm saying how he responded to it was very dangerous. One, he picked up the gun when he was obviously knowingly drunk.
Right.
That scares the bejesus out of me.
This is what I'm saying. So your emotions got the best of you, the alcohol got the best of you, and then someone that you're in a relationship with, your first mode of action was to grab a gun. Listen, even if, like, I'm with you. I 100% believe it was loaded. But even if it wasn't, she probably believed it was.
Yes.
So you're not in your right mind. You should never have a firearm in the house ever again. And the entitlement to pull it in this situation is just mind-boggling to me.
Let me close with this. I'm wondering what the Dallas Mavericks are going to do. I hope that they respond swiftly. Yes, they'll probably say, we're not going to comment on a pending investigation. We're going to wait till all the facts come out. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. But there have to be swift consequences when the time comes, and there have to be thorough consequences.
I think, and I've been a big fan of teams allowing things to play out through the legal system. I think that's the stance they're going to take. Like, we're going to wait. We're going to cooperate with authorities. And while that is my stance, I do think that there's some instances when you have to judge the content of that person's character. I think this is one of those instances. But I also think that if that is your position as an organization, you have to stick to that no matter what. So I'm going to be fascinated to see what they do as well.
Well, there's what they say publicly, and there's also what they know privately.
Right. I
don't believe that the Dallas Mavericks have only had this one publicized incident with Daryl Armstrong. If he's doing this, there are probably some other things. I always talk about the roach theory. If this is not the first time he's pistol whipped someone or done something which could have brought infamy to the Dallas Mavericks organization.
Right.
I just don't believe that, because his judgment is obviously not all that good.
There's been a woman that they know something happened to, and she's like, well, I'll go away for this amount. I would bet my last dollar that's happened.
I'm not taking that bet, because you're probably right. Jackie Ray, it's always good to see you.
Great to be here.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
KFI, Mr. Mo Kelly, live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app. And here is your weekly horoscope for this week. Post Valentine's Day weekend. Hope you got some this weekend. I was pulling for all of you, even Mark.
Pulling? Were you pulling? Thank you for that.
I'll wait.
It's not going to happen. I'm getting my own sound effect, and I'm going to operate it from in here.
Yes, self-love.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Aquarius, you will need to pay more attention to money matters over the next few days, not least because you have been too free and easy with your finances in recent weeks. If you carry on shedding cash at your present rate, there may soon be nothing left. Pisces, don't finish a project in a mad rush today, as you could make a poor job of it. You may be behind schedule a bit, but it's not the end of the world, and there will be plenty of opportunities to catch up later on. For now, just chill. Just Netflix and chill, Pisces. Aries, promise yourself right now, as this new week begins, that you won't get uptight if some of the people you have to deal with get on your nerves. Maybe they're at home. Maybe they're on the job. Maybe they're both. It could be that part of the problem is actually with you, not the people around you. Maybe try not to be so touchy, Mark. I know you're not an Aries, but it does apply.
I don't appreciate
You're
that.
so touchy. Taurus, the sun's move into the friendship area of your chart this week will encourage you to get out of the house and get to know people who share your interests and your outlook on life. Let the caring side of your nature come to the fore.
What to the fore?
Sharing and the caring arrive to the fore. Gemini, now it's Mark's turn.
Tread lightly here. Tread lightly.
The sun's move into the career area of your chart sounds like a metaphor. The sun's move into the career area of your chart this week means you need to keep your eye on the prize on the work front, because you won't be the only one who is looking to get ahead.
Wait, am I getting promoted or am I getting fired? Which is it?
I don't know. That's for you to figure out. That's for you to find out. It's your horoscope.
I choose A.
Okay. Well, you got extra hours today.
And last night.
Well, there you go.
I'll be moving a cot into the building.
Define your goals, then really go after them. Since you mentioned a cot, Tuwala, I know you slept at the station before.
Yes, sir.
I've slept at this station before. Stefan, have you slept at the station yet?
I have not. Just did overnights a couple times, but that's it.
Okay, but you've done overnights. Okay, close enough. Mark, have you ever slept at the station before?
Well, I've napped at the station.
Was it like after midnight?
No, but I have pulled plenty of overnighters here when we did those.
Yeah, you will eventually sleep at the station or work overnights working in radio. It's almost inevitable.
Yeah, well, there was a couch, a very comfy couch in the newsroom, and I believe some authority figure absconded with it.
Yes. No names.
No, of course not, because I'm sure they have a good reason for taking it.
Yeah, they might put it to use. Cancer, you have a lot of excess energy that you need to get rid of. And as the sun is about to begin its journey through the most adventurous area of your chart, that is unlikely to be a problem. But don't go too far, though, and start being reckless, whatever that means. Stefan, have you figured it out?
I don't know about the excess energy, but I'll try to figure that one out.
All right.
I mean, you got a haircut.
Yeah, Stefan got a haircut.
That's true.
I mean, that's excess. That's
Got a
new.
Debbie Hamill.
To me.
It's not the little bob you got going on there. It's like right above your neck.
I think I took a little bit too much off of like the back of my hair because it just looked like nothing changed, so I had to take more off, and it's like, so I'll just let it grow out again. No biggie.
Okay. Does your hair grow fast? I don't know.
Kinda. I mean, I just monitor it, but yeah, I know it used to grow really fast. Now it's kind of like slowed down.
Well, that's what happens when you get older.
Yeah.
Everything slows down.
Yeah,
Everything.
You said you got a Debbie Hamill.
Do you mean Dorothy Hamill?
Her too.
The skater?
Her too. Debbie, whatever her name is. Dorothy.
Somebody from your past, Debbie Hamill?
Debbie, Dorothy, Donna.
One of your tawdry hookups?
Denise. Diane. One of them Hamills.
One of the Hamill girls.
Yeah, go down your black book.
Why you gotta make it racial?
It's just what I do.
Leo, as the cosmic pointer moves away from your opposite sign, you should find it easier to deal with partners and loved ones and work colleagues without a big falling out. Cooperation is essential now, especially where joint money matters are concerned. Something about marriage. Virgo, how you react to people over the next few days will set the scene for your relationships over the next few weeks. It's okay to be assertive, but don't step over the line and give others the impression that you are spoiling for a fight. Libra, you may feel a bit sad that something you value has gone out of your life, but don't let your tears blind you to the fact that something even better is now coming in. Change is a fact of life, so accept it and make it work for you. Tuwala, are you ready for yours?
Absolutely.
Okay. If you are about to start something new, make sure it will inspire you, not just for a few weeks, but for years to come. With the sun moving in your favor tomorrow, specifically tomorrow, it can and it must be something that appeals to every fiber of your being.
Wow.
Does it mean anything?
No, but I'm now looking.
Okay. Every fiber.
Every fiber.
Not 85% of your fibers. 99.9 is not enough. Every fiber of your being.
It's got to be 100%. Okay.
That's right. Every fiber. Sagittarius. Here we go. That's me. People can really be annoying at times, and what someone says today will rub you the wrong way.
Bingo.
Even so, you are advised not to get angry and hit back at them. But hitting back is the best part. You have bigger fish to fry, so don't waste your energy. It says tiddlers. What is a tiddler? Does it mean toddler? Is this a misprint?
No, tiddlers.
What is a tiddler? I've never heard that word before. Is that a real word?
I've never heard tiddler.
I mean, yeah, is that something that's supposed to be inconsequential?
I think so. I mean, like, you know,
Tiddler.
like tiddlywinks.
It's British. They smell the fish.
Yep. So maybe they did spell it wrong.
So, yeah,
No,
Because that
Daddy, I want some chocolate ice cream. What is a tiddler?
like a small fish. Like don't waste your energy on small fish. Yeah.
Just put it in English, not British
quite a way
slang.
to go.
Yeah, it could have been much more easily communicated. Don't sweat the small stuff.
And it says used in conversation. Yeah. Don't sweat. It means don't sweat the small things or don't.
They didn't write that.
I know, but that's what it translates to. Tiddlers. Yes.
Listeners,
tiddlers.
what we're hearing here is
I'm getting
irony.
angry about.
We're
I'm getting
hearing
angry about
irony.
the small stuff. Okay, they don't want me to get mad about the small stuff, and then they do something which is patently incorrect, and they say don't get mad about it because it's the small stuff.
Thank you for that.
And spit on that thing. You get me?
Capricorn. The sun's move into the communications area of your chart tomorrow means you will find your voice at last. Let everyone around you know what you are going to be doing and what they can do to assist you. In fact, don't ask, insist. And yeah, that's the end of your. Did we get them all in? Did we forget?
Yeah.
them? Okay.
No. That's
There's your
everyone. That's
horoscope.
everyone by date. I mean, by it's in order. Lots of times when we're getting them, they're out of order.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just kind of like, you know, not in terms of importance, but there's sometimes they're just. But this is just read in the correct horoscopic order.
Okay, I'll try not to get too wound up about small things.
Tiddlers.
Ask workers.
Huh?
Ask workers.
What?
Ask workers.
What
Wait,
does that have
what's
to do?
that?
What? Huh? Mark, what are you playing?
Hawk Tua.
Ask workers.
What are ass workers? That's strange. It's kind of like random.
It's very weird that you would just have that.
It's weird, Mark.
That's a job, huh?
Yeah, I guess so. Hope you all got something out of that. I did. I'm going to not sweat the small stuff. And I learned what tiddlers were. It sounds kind of sensual. Come over here and tiddle me.
Locking the newsroom door.
KFI AM 640. We're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. And when we come back, comedian Amy Schumer has weighed in on how frequently, or infrequently, as it were, that she and her husband have sex. And I have a lot of thoughts about that. A lot.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Comedian Amy Schumer. And if you ever followed her or listened to her act, she does talk about sex rather routinely. She recently, on the other side of Valentine's Day, revealed some intimate details about their wedding anniversary. And she said, quote, "We had sex. We did." And she also revealed that, I'll take her at her word, she and her husband only have sex 2 days a year on their anniversary and birthdays, which would be 3 days a year, unless they have the same birthday. But who am I to quibble with their math? She said 2 days a year, anniversary and birthdays. And if you listen to her comedy, I believe her because she's kind of hinted at it over the years. And I'll tell you what I think on the other side of this.
It's hard to have sex with your spouse. I'll say it. Because that's your family. It's like, we just had Thanksgiving together. I'm not going to suck your d***. You're my emergency contact, for Christ's sake. It's disgusting. Can't talk dirty to each other anymore. Know each other too well. You know, I'm like, I'm gonna. He's like, no, you're not. No, I'm not. I want you to all over. No, you don't. No. No, I don't. We do a lot of role play, but I always pick the same role, you know? I'm always like, okay, I am in a coma. Go.
That's Amy Schumer. But the takeaway is she telling the truth? Maybe. And I'm only speaking to the married people or the people who have been married, because you'll understand this. I may not have been married as long as everyone else, but I got almost a decade under my belt now. So I think I can participate in this competition. When it comes to sex and marriage, I think it's just a function of whatever works for the couple. Remember Suzanne Summers, the late Suzanne Summers? She said that she and Alan Ladd, her husband, had sex every single day. I've never been wired that way. Every single day, I got ish to do.
Well, if you were married to Suzanne Summers, you might find a way to muster it up every single day.
Look, but that's what everyone says. That's what everyone says. And I don't care who your spouse is, how hot your spouse is. There gets to be a routine of life. That just can't do that. Look, for me, I like a good night's sleep, uninterrupted, more nights than not.
Oh, no, what a chore. I have to get into the sack with Suzanne Summers again today. Oh, can't face it.
Okay, look, I can't use real names, but this is a real story.
Okay.
A friend of mine, musician, singer, well-known, was married to the most beautiful actress in the world. And if you know me, you know who I'm talking about. Okay? And he and I are friends to this day. I've told some semblance of the story before. He and this uber beautiful woman got married while I was working at a record company, and he was doing an album on said record company. They got married, and this person won a very, very high profile award. I don't want to say much more than that. He and I got together after this person won this very high profile award, and he was doing very well in the music industry. And we sat down at Jerry's Deli. Tell you exactly where we were. Jerry's Deli in Studio City, because I live right around the corner. And it was right around like my 32nd birthday or so, because he came to my birthday. That's how I associate it. So we were sitting down. I bought him a drink. I said, so-and-so, you are at the top of your career. You are married to arguably the most beautiful woman in the world who just won this high-profile award. Does it get any better than this? He leaned into me and he said, Mo, there's nothing like new P.
Like what?
New P. As in new, N-E-W.
Yeah.
Next word, P, hyphen.
Another word for a cat.
So he was a sociopath.
Well, no, Mark, no, seriously.
You're missing the point.
You can be married, and I know an individual who was married to an extremely attractive Instagram model, and he still cheated on her because at home, all that Instagram modelness, all that was out the door. Once you get home, it's like, well, no, now she's regular. She's my girl.
Yeah.
And all that's, now she's just regular.
All I'm saying is, oh, gosh, I'm trying to say this, not get in trouble. All I'm saying is,
horses are out of the barn, Chief.
Look, just because it's Suzanne Summers doesn't make it any different for any guy. And this is something that was told to me. I'm not thinking this, told to me. I'm passing it on. It's going to sound very chauvinistic. I'm putting it out there, but I'm going to own it. Uh-huh. Okay? Every woman that you run into, every woman, there is someone who is, can I say it, Twala? You know what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
You might as well.
There's every woman that you run into, no matter how gorgeous she is, and I'm quite sure it's the same with men, so I can't speak for that, but I'm saying every woman that you run into, there is someone who is tired of blank.
Of her bow flexing.
Yes.
Okay. Well, and it kind of boils down to the grass is always greener.
Yes.
It doesn't matter.
The idea often is more sexy than the reality. And then you have the reality for 8, 9, 15, 30 years. And it's not going to be every day. It's not.
Yeah, because you come home and it's not just partying and sex. It's like you got chores, you got mortgage, you got bills. That's
You sound
not
like
the
a
fun
married
part.
man.
I mean, I'll stop you when you tell the
Right.
lie, fool.
Right. I mean, that's reality.
And there's something else. When you're dating someone, you just kind of in that dating mode. You can have your fights. She'll go to her house. You'll go to your place, and then you'll meet up again. I don't know, 4 or 5 days later or something. But when you're married,
You're going downstairs.
right.
You're on the couch or whatever. I mean, look, Mark, and you're not owning up to this, Mark, and I'll respect your wishes and I'd make you own up to it.
We're not going to bust you out.
So I'm not going to play you out like
This
that.
is generous
Mark.
of you. Thank you.
But I'm just saying, Mark, you know damn well
He's playing
how
dumb.
tired you can get of live-in action.
There's a lot of news we have to get to right away. It's
So now you want to eject from the
near
conversation.
the top of the hour.
All I'm saying is I understand. In other words, I don't judge other people's relationships. If you're Suzanne Summers, Alan Ladd, and you are knocking boots and bumping uglies every single day for the rest of your life, more power to you. More power to you. But for me, and I would say 99.9% of the men out there, sometimes a good night's sleep is a better option. Okay? Because when you're dating someone, they leave. When you're married to them, KFI AM 640, we're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
Full bandwidth stimulation.
KFI.
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.